is up, my ASMR family? So today was going to be, it went different than what I wanted it to go, that's for damn sure. But I was either going to make today's video fragrances I've been wearing, or the other 5 that I need to try out because they're still sitting over there. Man, the Dracar Blue fell when I was putting this window fan in the window in here the other day. It fell and it was under something. I didn't realize that's what it was. And I stepped on it and I realized I was stepping onto something that was on top of it, but I didn't know that it was stepping on the box of the Dracar Blue. So the bottom of the box is undone, or the cellophane is undone partially. But yeah, that's what I was going to do, one of those 2 videos for today, but that just did not go like that, so here we are. But so I'm going to tell you about the wreck that I had today, but today's just been off anyway. So like the top part of my shower, like I'm going to start out with the top, with what happened this morning. So the top part of my shower, now y'all know how tubs are in a mobile home. You know, the tubs that are in mobile homes, y'all know how they are. They got that section across where you could pretty much sit on the top of it. Well, mine is cracked, and because I have the hole in my foot, I don't use both of my feet to get in. I put my left knee, because the hole's in my right foot, I put my left knee up on there and, you know, use my arms with it, and, you know, well, no, hold on, how do I do it? No, yeah, I put my right knee, I don't know why I was thinking my left, I put my right knee and use my arms and then bring my left leg in and then stand up, you know, so that's how I get in the bathtub, and pretty much the same way out of the bathtub. But that crack, where it cracked, me getting in and out like that has made it worse. So today, you know, and normally what I'll do is I'll keep a towel folded up over that to where I can sit down right there and, you know, get my foot bandaged and everything after I get out of the shower, get my deodorant and all that stuff put on. And so what I ended up doing, because I didn't have a towel, because I took all the towels to wash them, like the way like what I normally do is the towel that I dry off with that day, that's what I do. I fold it and everything and put it over that crack, and then the next day switch the towels out. You know, what I use the next day, that towel goes down over the crack, and then the one that was there goes in dirty clothes. So but yeah, so anyway, I didn't have a towel there because I took everything to the laundromat last night. So the only thing I had was, I had part of the towel in one hand and the other part of the towel laid across. Well, because that it was thin and everything, whenever I put my knee up there, I put my knee in a place where the edge of the crack started digging into my knee, and that shit hurt. So I was trying to get a better, you know, position, and my knee slipped. And whenever my knee slipped, I tried to keep myself up, but I couldn't keep myself up. Bam, I came down on my right hip, my ass cheek and my right hip. That shit hurt like hell. And you know what? It's crazy because my ass was only like that far. It was only like that far up from the thing. But man, when I hit hard. And even though it hurt, what I was thinking about was the shock that it sent up my spine, you know, like, was it going to bother my neurological stuff, you know? So luckily it didn't seem to. But yeah, so there was that. Oh, and let me tell you a funny story about that. You know, you hear about dudes getting their shit stuck in a zipper. Well, you know, if y'all don't want to hear the story, skip up a minute or 2, because it's kind of, some people find it nasty. Me, I find it funny. A lot of people will find it funny. But, you know, my dudes, you know, sometimes, you know, your skin will get caught in the zipper. So, if you think that's bad, there was one day when the crack was a little bit smaller than what it is now. I was sitting on top of that thing, and I thought where I was positioned, and I was naked because I just got done taking a shower, but I didn't have the towel down the way I normally do. And well, I don't know, maybe I didn't just get done taking a shower. Maybe I was getting ready to take a shower and I was sitting. That's what it was. I was getting ready to take a shower and I was sitting on the edge, and I went to get up, and whenever I went to get up, I realized real fast that the plastic, because you know these tubs now, they're all fucking plastic, all fiberglass and plastic bullshit, but where I was sitting, the cracks spread, and whenever I went to get up, you know, it came back together and it pinched my nutsack. That shit hurt like hell, but I caught myself from going up even more, you know, so I caught myself. Now, man, I started to panic because because each way I was trying to move, I couldn't get out of it. So I was just like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna have to sacrifice. And, you know, like I pushed on the bathtub a certain way so the crack would open, and I was thinking it was gonna catch me even worse at first, and then opened up right, but luckily it just opened up all the way, you know, from the beginning, and I was able to stand back up. Yeah, that shit sucked. But anyway, so what happened today with my truck? Today was, my son asked me if I could take his girlfriend home, my youngest son, Caden, because he's back with his mom. So, I was like, yeah, I'll take her home. So I went and picked him up and her. I went and picked him and her up, and I think the reason, and like he knows that shit. That's another reason why I think he won't stay with me, because I'm not gonna let that stuff. No. I don't mind if, like I don't mind it. Which my other two kids are grown now, but even when they were younger, back in their teens, I don't mind if their girlfriend or boyfriend comes over, but the whole staying thing, nah. But their mom lets them do it. So, but anyway, yeah. So I went and picked them up and was bringing her home, and then, my transmission started running hot because the light come on, and I always thought that light was for, whenever it came on, I always thought that specific light was for my engine. It's not just for my engine, it's also my transmission, and my transmission has been giving me problems here lately. So, which I think I've said that to y'all, but, so, I cut the thing off, I let it cool down and everything. I started back up because we were almost to her house, and I bring it back. I bring them there, and the truck barely makes it up the damn driveway. So, but since it has the engine light on, I got one of those little computers, and I'm like, okay, I can check it now that the engine light's on, because Adam was trying to check it a few days ago, and there was no check engine light on, and it wasn't giving him any codes or anything. I was like, dude, I think the little computers like we have don't pick it up. You have to get a more specialized computer. You have to spend some money. But he said, nah, his did, but I didn't think it would, and it didn't. But anyway, so I'm sitting there running those, and it throws 3 damn codes for the transmission. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You gotta be kidding me. So, they end up, they damn. So I go in there. Well, I'm not even gonna worry about this part of the story, but anyway, damn. So what ends up happening is she ends up going back to his house. She ends up going back over there. So I have to end up bringing them back over there because of whatever damn reason I'm not gonna say on here, but because that's all that business. But so I end up bringing them back. Well, on the way back, I'm taking the back roads because now my transmission's messed up. So I took the highway for a little while, and I'm like, I'm gonna take this way because I don't have to go as fast. So I take that way, and we go down a little ways, and then there's a turn. And as I'm going around that turn, now it was just raining, so there was standing water in places, and it didn't even look that bad. But when I was going around the turn, all of a sudden I lost control of my car. Now, normally when you hydroplane, you can feel it. You can tell what it feels like. This didn't feel like that. All I felt was I started to lose control of my car, my truck, and then the wheel snatched to the right, and then I tried to snatch the wheel back to the left, and which was stupid. I hit my brakes, but that's a natural reaction. So I hit my brakes trying to slow it down because, like I said, it didn't feel like I hydroplaned. Because every time I've hydroplaned, I could feel it, but I've never had it to that point where I lost total control of the car. But I lost total control. But yeah, and so the turn goes like this right here, and then there was a transfer truck trailer sitting right here, and so we're going around the turn, and then it just ends up going straight. Well, it ends up going straight. I hit the ditch and then bounce back up out of the ditch, and then the back end of the trailer right here with the metal pieces that come down, which I'm gonna try to put a picture of. The truck just like grazed, and as it hit, it like dug in farther. It barely caught the front, and then it just dug in farther as I went, and we went just rolling through, and but yeah, now it scared the ever-living shit out of me because whenever we first were going off the road, what I saw was us going into running into the wheels and the axles of that truck, of that trailer. That was damn sure not what I wanted. And I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, so Caden, his girlfriend, were all right and everything, and it's just like, I've never been into a wreck with my kids, and if the truck would have been a foot to a foot and a half over to the right, maybe not even that much, it would have ripped the damn door. It would have ripped the doors open too, and that probably would have fucked Caden up, because Caden would have, if it would have been over farther, Caden would have took the brunt of it most likely. And but yeah, and then his girlfriend probably would have took a big impact of it. Me, I think, my left side's kind of hurting, and I got tension all up in here and I've been getting pressure in my ears on and off and stuff, so I think it did aggravate my Chiari, but outside of that, I'm good. At least I hope, because I got my anxiety hit me so bad, I went ahead and took a lorazepam, which is the first one I've taken in months and months, because, I don't like taking that shit. But, yeah, so I'm interested to see how I'm going to feel in the morning. But, and Caden, he said he's fine. He said after a little while he got a little bit sore, but that was about it. And Mary said pretty much the same thing, but yeah, I look at everything, and even though, I just took out that loan to push my business. Now my truck is torn all to hell because the transmission in it needs work or needs a new one. The damn something with my right front wheel is busted. I don't know what is busted because I didn't take the time to look to see what all was messed up, and then the side of my truck is torn all to hell. So the truck really is just worth me pulling it back in the yard and parting out what I can, and then just scrapping the rest of it. But yeah, so but I just took that damn loan out, that highest interest loan, and so I could have a little bit of breathing room and push my business and now that breathing room and everything is gone. So like I got flyers made up, I got other stuff on the way and everything. It's just like, fuck man, now I ain't got no damn truck. So now I gotta figure out what to do. And I'm not stressing it so much as I would have, years ago, because I'm looking at this and I'm just like, my kid, if we would have been a foot over, my kid could be seriously fucked up or dead. So I could be worse off. I could have had his girl, something really bad could have happened to his girlfriend and all that. I would have felt like it's on me, Even though I hydroplaned, and once you hydroplane, there's, as far as I know, as far as my experience, there's really nothing you can do. There might be something you can do, but I'm not experienced in it. So even though I'm a good driver, but yeah, so I'll look at that and I'm just like, to whether it's God, the universe, pure chance, energy, whatever it is, I thank it, because it could have been a lot worse, and I am grateful for that, because that's what I keep thinking about. I'm like, man, if it would have been worse, I might be burying my fucking kid, or I might be at the hospital, So yeah, I'm grateful for that. So while I took on that loan to do things and to get more breathing room, and now because of all this, it's left me with even less breathing room. Fuck it, my kid's alive. Nothing's wrong with him or anything. So I'm good on that. I'm really good on that. But something I find interesting is, every time his girlfriend gets in my truck, something goes wrong. The first time she got in my truck, the damn thing overheated. It overheated and everything. Now granted, come to find out, it needed some antifreeze. So, but I haven't had a problem with it overheating since then until today. And then today, it overheats. When this was the next time she got back in the truck from last time. So then it overheats and my transmission starts throwing codes. Then she gets out to go home. That shit happens. I end up having to take her back with Caden. And then what happens after that? Then I get into a wreck. It's almost like, damn. Is she bad luck for my car? Like, what the hell? I mean, I don't necessarily believe that. I just think it's funny. The whole damn, it's just the coincidence of it all. So, but I do wonder if I hydroplaned or if something snapped in my front end. Because like I said, I've been having the transmission problems, and I wasn't going fast, 40, 45 miles an hour. Like if I would have been driving the way I used to drive, because the way I used to drive, I was fly like hell all the time. So if I would have been driving and that would have happened with how fast I used to drive, we would have probably been dead. So I'm glad my medical problems and everything have caused me to slow things down. So, because even, now that I'm feeling less and less like I was, I'm not feeling nowhere near, I don't feel, let me say this right, I hardly ever feel like what normal should be, but I hardly ever feel like normal should be. But I don't have my bad episodes. I'm not having my bad episodes as much. Is this making sense, when it comes to this shit? But yeah, where was I going? Where the hell was I getting ready to go with that? Oh yeah, so anyway, so I'm back to driving regular, even though there's times where I still don't feel right and this and that, but it's caused me, even on the times that I don't feel like that, and I feel pretty much normal while I'm driving. I've still slowed down. I'm just like, now, I've done it now for a while, and it's just like, why? I don't have nowhere to be. It's no big deal, for me to zoom all over the place. And, because I watch people do the same type of shit that I used to, and it's like, you're in such a damn hurry, driving stupid, to do what? You get to the stoplight, and I just watched you weave in and out of traffic and do dumb shit. And where are you at? You're right in front of me at the stoplight. All that damn NASCAR driving really got you somewhere, and all you did was put people in danger. That's just like a damn motorcycle rider, the way he was cutting in and out of traffic the other day, and then the way he swung right in front of me. And it's like, dog, you swinging right in front of me the way you just did, the only reason why I didn't end up running you over is because I was having trouble with my transmission, and not because, and it just wasn't, the truck didn't want to go faster. And I'm not saying that because I would have purposely done it, but I would have been driving faster than what I was, and he would have tried to squeeze through a spot that had less room to squeeze in, So, but that's the way he was riding that motorcycle in and out. So if my transmission wouldn't have been acting up and I would have been able to drive faster than what I was, that probably would have ended up really bad for him. It's just like, why are you riding stupid? No fucking reason. No reason at all. And I know there's some reasons where, you're trying to get to the hospital or this or that for whatever reason. I understand stuff like that, but at the same time, I watch people drive dumb all the time and they're not even going anywhere. Like, you're in a hurry, you're driving like, you're driving in and out of traffic like Dale Earnhardt, gonna possibly end up like Dale Earnhardt to get to what? Starbucks? Come on now, coffee ain't that damn important, and the shit ain't that, and it's damn sure not that good. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, people need to chill. Oh, and what pissed me off about that wreck too is the two cars that were right behind me didn't even stop. Like, you just watched a car run off the road, damn near end up in a way worse position than what they did, and you're not gonna fucking stop. At least fucking stop and roll down your window and be like, hey, are you okay? At the very least that. But no, nobody did. And that right there is why I have so much trouble with humanity. Or that's one reason why I have so much trouble with humanity. Like, over the years, the more I've looked at people and the way I watch people treat each other online and everything like that, because they know they can't get punched in the fucking mouth, so they say their true feelings. I'm finding it really hard to like people. Like, I've gotten to the point where I know I'll never be God, but if I was God, I would snap my fingers and turn the majority of humanity into fucking dust. I would be like, man, you know what? Y'all are a disgrace to my creation. Bam. Fucking dust. So, and if I was like that, I'd be God, so I'd know everybody's real heart. So, everybody that truly deserved to get dusted out of here would. But yeah, man, if you see something like that and you're right behind them, god damn, pull over and at least ask, because the people that were around there, it took them like 5 minutes before they got up there. What if I was bleeding out? What if I was bleeding out? Or what if I was unconscious and my son Caden was bleeding out or whatever? Like, I think about stuff like that, and you could have pulled over and just asked. You could have pulled over and asked, and if we were in that type of situation, you could have been the one to call 911 and help save somebody's life, but like I'm not asking to come out and try to fix my truck, and if I'm passed out, give me CPR or anything. I'm not saying nothing like that, but god damn, check on people, man. That's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, because you could be the reason why a person lives. And what's so bad is a lot of people that are like that, then they'll say some shit on Facebook where somebody did do something, and they'll like it or love it and be like, yeah, that's the world needs more people like that. And it's like, you could be that person. You could be that person, but you just passed up a motherfucker that could have very well needed your damn help. So it just, yeah, I between that and, like I said, watching more and more people as I get older, I'm just like, I'm a people person, I need human interaction and everything, but at the same time, I just look at people, I'm like, why do I need the human interaction? Why? Because the older I get, the more cynical I'm becoming about humanity. I mean, I'm not saying there's not a lot of great people out there. I'm not saying that at all. But my problem is I'm seeing way too many shitty people. People that don't give a fuck. And it's just like, what's your fucking problem? So, but yeah. Yeah, everything did turn out alright and all that. So, which I am glad for that. I'm so glad for that. And now I'm gonna figure out what to do. Like this is what I do. So as long as my medical problems can keep where they've been at, I'm not saying they gotta get better. God, I hope they would get better. But I'm not saying they gotta get better. But if they can just stay where they're at and not put me back to where I was a few months ago with them, I'll be great. I'll be able to figure some shit out, and I'll be able to get out of all this mess that I just got in. So we'll see how it goes. I guess we'll make that a video and everything. But yeah, so I'll have an unboxing video coming up. I got that video coming up for trying the fragrances. I got the fragrances I've been wearing. I got a pair of shoes on the way, so that's another video. I want to do those white shoes green and talk about mental health and talk about Chase's story and all that, because his mom has been letting out more and more stuff as she's been finding out, which is totally fucked up. Like they're lucky. Some of those people in that fucking school and area and everything are lucky that Chase's mom and dad are the way they are, and they probably are like that because they have other kids. But man, I'll tell you what, like if something like that was to happen to my kid because they just kept getting bullied and bullied and bullied, and then it was getting, kids a lot of times don't talk about it. When I was bullied, I didn't really talk about it either. I didn't tell my mom I got bent over and paddled with a 2x4. I didn't tell her that shit that happened. I didn't tell her that, damn, I was across the street getting high with this other dude, Chris, and this other dude, Joe, and then they started beating the hell out of me. And then thought it was funny because I was high and laughing like hell, so they just kept drilling me even harder, like that shit, it was hurting, but I was laughing like hell. And yeah, so I didn't tell my mom the extent of the shit that happened to me. And that 2x4 fucking hurt. But yeah, so kids don't talk about it. But when their school faculty seeing shit, and especially when now the kid that is always in class is disappearing from class in the middle of the fucking day, and the school faculty is not doing their fucking job, and for one, find out where the kid is, for two, while you're trying to find out where the kid is. If you can't find him in school, then the parent should be notified right then, because now you're trying to see if the parent did pick up the kid, you know. So the shit that they fucking hid from these parents, like, the system totally failed the kid, you know. And he had different learning disabilities and everything like that, and problems with social cues, and so, like, the more his mom talks about it, the more you know, like, stuff that sounds that he has, that, you know, kids being little mean bastards would bully him over, you know, because, you know, people talk about, oh, kids learn it from their parents. No, not always. Y'all ever sat there and watch kids can be mean little motherfuckers, man, for real. Damn. And look at all the people that their parents, you know, raise them a certain way, and they turn out different than what they're raised. It's not just the parenting, it's also the kid. I'm not saying that that it isn't the parent at a lot of times, but a lot of times, because it is, but at a lot of times it is just the kid, who the kid is, you know, at heart. And there's a lot of pieces of shit kids out there, and I'm sorry, it sounds bad, but it's the truth. So, but yeah, so they should have done something. The school should have been notifying his mom, because if his mom and dad knew, they would, from what they've said, they would have done more, you know, more than what they did, because they would have known the extent. Because, like, they would say Chase would come home, and, you know, when Chase was home, he was fine, he was smiles and this and that and everything. When it comes to people that commit suicide, a lot of times that's what they do. They're around people, they're laughing, they're talking and everything, and then what looks like to you out of nowhere, you know, they're gone. But to them, so much, it wasn't just an out of nowhere thing. A lot of them have already been thinking on it for a while. So, yeah, I wish Chase would have said something, and all the other kids that didn't really say stuff, I wish they would have said something, because, you know, we expect the authorities and all that we expect them to be there to protect our kids, and, you know, to do all that shit, and they don't do it. That's why I don't trust authority either. People are too corrupt. And there's so many different things to say that I just can't get to come to my mind right now. But yeah, you can't. If you're going to trust your kids going to school and the faculty to do the right thing, you can only trust them so far. That's like I've learned over the years. If I trust people, I only trust them to a certain extent, and I only trust them with certain things. You know, I never give anybody any more full-blown trust. Nope, not doing that. You ain't about to leave me looking stupid, you know. So, yeah, and I don't think you can do that with the majority of people. I mean, like, that's like, look, we send our kids to daycare, and look at all the stories about the neglect in daycare, and not just neglect, but the abuse in daycare. And then look at like nursing homes. We send our loved ones to nursing homes and everything, supposed to be taken care of, and then find out they're taken care of so horribly, you know, and they're treated so bad. Like, yeah, you can't trust the schools. You can't trust the nursing homes. You can't trust. Like, I've learned too much, man. I don't trust medical. I don't trust the doctors, you know. And whenever I find a doctor, you know, yeah, I do give them more consideration than what they're saying. But if you're sitting here telling me shit that doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense, I'm not trusting you, you know. And I've had a good amount of so-called medical professionals say that shit, say shit that doesn't make a damn bit of fucking sense. But you know, you got them, you got fucking, you know, what the hell was I saying? You know, you got all you got all these motherfuckers over people and everything, and you just can't trust them, you know. So, like, yeah, your kid goes to school, but after that, you gotta be all in, you know, now you gotta be all in their shit, and a lot of times you end up learning that because you end up learning that firsthand. Like me, whenever I was in school, okay, yeah, my first 10th grade year, I was a crazy ass and everything, and they labeled me a troublemaker. So I stayed suspended that year. I ended up quitting that year, but I came back the next year. So I came back the next year and was doing better because I really wanted to do better. But because the year before they told my mom he's a troublemaker and we don't allow troublemakers in our school, or like troublemakers in our school or some shit. So that's what they labeled me as. So when I came back the next year, that's what they were doing. They already labeled me as a troublemaker. Get him the fuck out. So then I started getting suspended for shit that I wasn't even doing. And then on top of it, whenever I started thinking about quitting again, the counselor pretty much talked me into quitting. My mom was fucking not happy about that shit at all. She was like, your job is to fucking counsel. But yeah, well, he counseled me right out of school. So, but yeah, and then I was going to do culinary college, which I didn't do. But anyway, like, I've learned from watching shit, and then like when your kids are in sports, like, don't just look at when your kids are in sports and you're looking at how everything is done, don't just look at it as your kid, as your parent. Just pull back and look at it for what it is. And man, you will see how fucked up shit is done in school sports and everything. So, and how, like, this kid over here has done great and this kid just shit on. I mean, the same thing happens in the classrooms too. But yeah, you can't give blind trust to these fuckers, man. You can't. And yeah, so like, I know for the kids getting bullied, yeah, it's on them to tell their parents, but you know, especially for males, you know, I think one thing when it comes to kids, they don't really know how to come at their parents and tell their parents, you know, even though they should. I think sometimes they don't know, and then other times I think they just don't want to be a burden, you know, or anything on that line. And then other times, you know, especially for like boys, and as we get older, it's, oh damn, you're a man. Don't nobody want to hear your feelings. Don't nobody want to hear you whine. Shut the fuck up and keep pushing. So that's what you hear, and you hear it as you're growing up, and then it's just like, well, damn. So you shut up and you try to deal with it yourself, and then you can't, you know. And then if it's too bad, you can't, you know. Especially if your brain isn't doing right, because, well, I'll talk more about this in that video, because I really want to talk more about this shit, but I don't want to do it on this video, because then it's going to kind of ruin doing it for the actual video that I want to talk about it on, you know, because I've been there, and it's, I don't know how many of y'all have been there. I mean, and I'm not talking about just thinking about it some. I'm talking about like being on the verge of doing it, or maybe even doing it and failing at doing it, because I failed. You want, you know, really, if you commit suicide, you want to fail at it. You don't, you know, because people that do it, they ended up regretting it. But yeah, like right there, I'm talking about doing it, or being right there, getting ready to do it, because I was about to jump off my bridge, in town. And now the fall, I figured the fall could kill you, but it's still also possibly not going to kill you. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, that fall's not going to kill me. So I'm sitting there timing out cars, standing on the railing, leaning forward. And if I would have leaned any more forward, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. I highly doubt a miracle. The only way I would have been able to stop myself is a miracle. But right before I hit that point, something clicked in my head, and it was almost like I could feel it physically, almost. And whenever it clicked, it was like, oh shit, I don't need to do this. And I climbed back down the railing, So it's like not everybody's like that. I don't think everybody's like that, but I think probably most people are like that. The brain is tunnel visioning, and it's almost taking control of you away from you, That's why I say you gotta learn how to control your own mind, because it's almost like your mind is not you. So, but yeah, like it was almost like I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do it. But at the same time, it was almost like I had no control to stop myself. It was like this needs to end so bad was in there. It was just like it took control. And then whenever that click happened, it changed. The feeling and everything just changed. I was like, oh shit, I don't need to do this. I got my kids and everything, So, yeah, climb back down, and just pretty much. So, yeah, you're in. So, when you get to that point, it's just kind of, I think for a lot of people, it's just kind of their brain taking them there, even if they don't want to go there. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna get off here, y'all. And I think I gapped a little bit the last couple minutes on what I was gonna say, but it's not sticking right now. So, but anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this pretty long video, and I'm gonna get off here and edit it and make y'all a thumbnail and get it to y'all tonight. So I hope y'all had a happy 4th of July. Hope y'all had a good Monday. Y'all take it easy. Peace.